Allow me to reintroduce myself.
I'm Coach O. Hello. I am Coach O, and I'm one of your hosts of the National Scouting Service Podcast Show. Before we get started today, just want to let everybody know that November the 1st is National Coach Day. So if you're a former athlete, a current athlete, please give a shout out to one of your favorite coaches, if not all your coaches. Let them know how much you appreciate them, and I know they'll really appreciate hearing from you. Now, we're going to get into some high school and some college sports news and scores, but before we do that, I'd like to give a big shout out to Dickinson Junior High School. They'll be playing in the championship, two of their teams, both being the 8th grade A team and the 8th grade B team, which will be playing for the district championship. Big shout out to our athletic director, as well as the head coach, Mr. Rodney Smith, as well as the coach Bags. Both are the A team coaches that'll be playing in the championship. Another big shout out to Coach Lewis, who is the head 8th grade B team coach, and Coach Moore, who is the assistant 8th grade B team coach, who will also be playing for the district championship. And big shout out to all of the Dickinson Junior High School athletics department, as well as to the volleyball teams that was playing in the district tournament. Don't have any information on how did they fare or how they did, but big shout out to all those coaches as well. Now, before we get into the high school and the college news, you can follow me on Twitter at Coach O Brown. Also follow National Scouting Service on Twitter at National Scouting. We're also on Instagram, National Scouting. We're also on Facebook, National Scouting Service. And we're on YouTube under National Scouting Service as well. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. That way, anytime we're going live, you can get an alert about a show that we're doing, whether it's an interview or whether it's a show. We do have a show coming up November the 2nd with outstanding female basketball athlete out of Geyer High School. Don't want to give a name yet, want you to tune in, but you can see some of the feature posters of the show that's coming up on TikTok as well as on Instagram, because we do profile our future guests that's coming on to the show. Now, with that being said, we're about to get into some high school sports and news. Now, our football news and scores are coming off the Football Friday Night app, which is sponsored by Dave Campbell, Texas Football. The first school I like to get into is Soho. That's South Houston High School. Used to teach there, worked there. I'd like to give a big shout out to my guy, Coach Ware. Good luck to you all with the last 2 games remaining in the season for a lot of the Texas high school schools. But South Houston Trojans, they faced off against Pasadena Memorial Mavericks, and South Houston Trojans won that game 34-21. Big shout out again to Coach Ware. Big shout out to Coach Klinger, who's the offensive coordinator over at Pasadena Memorial, as well as the assistant head coach. Both teams came in at 2-5, so that was a battle. I guess who's going to probably finish in last place or second to last. And South Houston is now 3-5, with Pasadena Memorial finishing at 2-6. And that is in 6A. So big shout out to both of those schools, to the coaching staff, to the coaches that I know and had opportunity of working with as well. The next score I'm bringing to you is the Angleton Wildcats versus the Fort Bend Kempner Cougars. These are 5A schools in Division I. Big shout out to my guy, my brother, Coach Michael Littleton, who coaches at Angleton High School. Both schools came in at 3-4, with Angleton finishing at 3-5. Not finishing at 3-5. Now their record is 3-5, and Fort Bend Kempner is 3-5 as well. And the score was 59-6, with the Angleton Wildcats winning that game. They had the Angleton Wildcats at 95% chance of winning this game, and they had Fort Bend Kempner at a 6% chance. At a 5% chance of winning this game. So I guess they got it right with the Angleton Wildcats winning that game. The next featured game that we're going to talk about, as you can see, I'm representing them as well, is the Dickinson Gators versus the Clear Spring Chargers. Clear Springs came into this contest at 6-1, with Dickinson coming in at 5-2. Clear Springs pulled out this game 34-28. They had Dickinson at a 77% chance of winning the game, and they only had Clear Springs at a 23% chance of winning that game. So I guess the pickers in this game was wrong. Now Dickinson is at 5-3, with Clear Springs at 7-1. And again, like I said earlier, a lot of the Texas high school teams have 2 games left in district to play, trying to make their way and they mark into the playoffs, trying to get that number 1 or that number 2 seed going in would have helped them tremendously in going into the playoffs. At Dickinson High School, I'd like to give a big shout out to Josh Arthur, quarterback at Dickinson High School. Dylan Green, big shout out to him. Lorenzo Aguilar, big shout out to Lorenzo. Carl Benethi, and Chase Lewis. At Clear Springs, I'd like to give a big shout out to Zach Parrish and his win on that game. Looking for some big things out of him coming into his senior year and into the playoffs. The next game that we'd like to talk about is the Lufkin Panthers versus the Port Arthur Memorial Titans. In this game, they had Lufkin at a 29% chance of winning this game and Port Arthur Memorial at a 71% chance of winning this game. This school is a 5A Division I school, and Lufkin came in at 6-1, now at 7-1, and Port Arthur Memorial came in at 6-2, and I think they're staying at 6-2. I probably have that wrong, but both are fighting to try to get into the playoffs. So a big shout out to Coach Mangum and his defense. He's the defensive coordinator over there. Big shout out to him. Good luck to both teams going into the playoffs. Next feature game we have is the Columbus Cardinals versus the Hitchcock Bulldogs. If I'm not mistaken, Columbus Cardinals are number 1 or was number 1 in 3A Division I. And I don't know what too much the Hitchcock Bulldog rankings was, but Columbus came in at 6-0. Now they're 7-1. The Hitchcock Bulldogs came in at 6-1. Now they are 7-1. And Columbus had a 75% chance. They was picked with a 75% chance of winning this game, with Hitchcock only having a 25% chance of winning this game. And the Hitchcock Bulldogs pulled out with a 37-36 victory. Don't know what the ranking may be now. I don't know if Hitchcock going to be number 1 and Columbus will fall, or Columbus will stay at number 1, and that'll move Hitchcock up in the rankings. But time will tell, and we'll be able to see that when that comes about. But I'd like to give a big shout out to Chase Burton, Malcolm Simpson, and Lakeith Taylor of the Hitchcock Bulldogs. Good luck to you guys going into the playoffs. Good luck as the remainder of the season is coming to a close. And I look for you guys to do big things going into the playoffs. Next feature game we're going to talk about is the Barber Hill Eagles at Galveston Ball Golden Tornadoes. Barber Hill was 5-3 coming into this game, with Galveston Ball at 7-0 going into this game. They had Barber Hills at a 29% chance of winning this game, with Galveston Ball with a 71% chance of winning this game. Well, Ball High fell to the Barber Hill Eagles 60-62. I think this game went into 3 overtimes, maybe 4. Both are coming out of 5A Division I. A lot of people was looking forward to this game to see where Ball will really be gauged at. You know, you hear that they're not playing anyone, and then when they play against good teams, when they played against Port Arthur Memorial, they kind of swept them, and I think their next big game was going to be Barber Hills, and they lost that game 60-62. A lot of people also was looking for this game because University of Texas commit, 5-star athlete, was nationally recruited, and Jonah Williams got hurt in this game. I don't know what quarter he got hurt in. I'm hearing that it was a shoulder injury, but this was a high, intense game with Ball High falling short. And I'd like to give a big shout out to Coach Caldwell as well as to Coach Sanders, coaches of 2 coaches of Galveston Ball High School. I'd like to give a big shout out to Jonah Williams. Hope you have a speedy recovery. Get well first. Don't rush back because you have the playoffs ahead of you. London Dion and Corey Sanders. And our next feature game, we had the Clear Falls Knights versus the Clearbrook Wolverines, with Clear Falls coming into this game at 4-3, with Clearbrook coming into this game at 1-6. And Clear Falls Knights defeated the Clearbrook Wolverines 70-14. They did have Clear Falls picked at a 94% chance of winning this game, and they had Clearbrook Wolverines at a 6% chance of winning this game, with Clear Falls now at 5-3 with 2 games left, and Clearbrook at 1-7 with 2 games left. Like to give a big shout out to a guy that I did interview on my podcast show. Go back and check that out on the National Scouting Service podcast show on YouTube. And that's Mr. Hunter Lehman, a.k.a. Hit Stick. He is a linebacker at Clear Falls, outstanding athlete. doing big things over there. Look for him to be all district in their district, and him to move on to great things as well, doing after his senior year going into college. The next game we're going to talk about, and that is the Crosby Cougars versus the LaPorte Bulldogs. The Crosby Cougars was going into this game 4-3, with the LaPorte Bulldogs also going into this game at 4-3. Great matchup. No, they was probably looking to get higher in the rankings. I know LaPorte right now is #1 in district, and they wasn't looking forward to losing that top ranking. And with the LaPorte Bulldogs winning this game 52-6, they did have the LaPorte Bulldogs at a 65% chance of winning this game, with Crosby having a 35% chance of winning this game. Big shout out to Coach Beneathi and his coaching staff. Big shout out to Peyton Smith. Big shout out to Sean Simon, and also a big shout out to Joshua Wells. Our last high school football game that we're featuring on this show is the Texas City Stingarees versus the Rosenberg Lamar Consolidated. And Texas City was going into this game 4-3, with Rosenberg going into the game 1-6. And the Stingarees won this game 45-17. Now they at 5-3 with 2 games left, and Rosenberg is at 1-7 with 2 games left. Big shout out to Texas City Stingarees players in Joy Duran as well as in Romello Robinson. Good luck to all these high school teams. Good luck to you all with the last 2 games in district coming about, and for those who are making their way into the playoffs. Now we're going to get into some college sports and news and scores. And with that being said, we're first going to start off with, now we're going to get back into it, and that's going to start off with the NCAA football action. And we're going to start off in the SWAC conference. And this game is Texas Southern University versus Grambling University, with Texas Southern winning this game 24-17. Texas Southern is now 3-4, with Grambling at 4-4. Texas Southern is ranked 3rd in their division in the SWAC West, and Grambling is at 6th in the SWAC West. And I know both of these schools trying to get into the SWAC tournament, because you know they have to win their division to be able to get or be able to qualify for the SWAC championship. Our next game we'd like to talk about in NCAA football, and we coming in the Southeastern Conference, the SEC, and that is Texas A&M versus LSU, with Texas A&M pulling out this game 38-23, and Texas A&M is now 7-1 and first in the SEC, and LSU is 6-2, and they finishing, well, they're not finishing because they still have a couple of games to go, but they are at number 5 in the SEC. Get into the ACC, and in this game we have SMU versus Duke, with SMU winning this game 28-27. SMU is now 7-1, and they are 3rd in the ACC. And Duke is now 6-2, and they are 10th in the ACC. Next, we're going to move on with the Texas Longhorns versus Vanderbilt. Texas Longhorns pulled this game out by the hair of their chinny chin chin, 27-24. Texas is now 7-1, and they are 3rd in the SEC. And Vanderbilt is 5-3, and they are 10th in the SEC. And with that being said, we're going to move on to some schools that I attended and also played football at. And one of the schools we're going to start off with is Lamar University, which I am a proud 2023 graduate of. And the game we have is the Lamar Cardinals versus Northwestern, with Lamar winning this game 42-10. Whoop, whoop, whoop. 42-10, which leads Lamar to a 5-3 record. They are 3rd in the Southland Conference, and Northwestern finishing at 0-9. I said finishing again, but they have a couple of games left, and they are 9th in the conference. The next game I'd like to bring to you is where I played at, and I'm also a Southland Conference champion of this school, and it is the Sam Houston State Bearcats. These Sam Houston State Bearcats played Florida International, with Sam Houston winning this game 10-7. Sam Houston is now 4th in Conference USA, and they are at 6-2 right now, with Florida International at 8th in the Conference USA and 2-6 overall. The next game I'd like to talk to you about, not a school that I attended, but it's two guys that go to that school that I'm real close to, and that is Texas State. They are in the SBC West, and they lost to Old Dominion. We don't need to say that score because I don't even have the score. But I'd like to give a big shout out to Terry Webb at Texas State, as well as to PJ Hatter. I know you guys are going to turn it around. Y'all are number 5 in y'all division, which is the West. And I know you guys are going to get a bowl appearance. Come back with y'all another ring. They won their bowl last year. And I'm pretty sure whatever bowl that you guys get in this year, you all will win that as well. Another school I like to talk about is another school that I attended and played football at. And it is the Ottawa Braves. Now, my Ottawa Braves not doing that good this year, but they are on the recruiting scene. So any of you potential high school athletes out there not getting heavily recruited, looking for a collegiate home, hey, look up the Ottawa Braves. They've been posting stuff on Twitter. I've been reposting their posts on Twitter. Give you a good opportunity to get recruited and land your home, have your opportunity to play, as well as hopefully turn my Brave ball program around. The Ottawa Braves are 1-7 right now. They lost to Sterling College. Sterling College is in second in the Franklin Gene Russell division. Ottawa University do play in the KCAC conference. So look them up. To all you potential recruits, you may find your home in the Ottawa Braves. Last but not least, I'd like to bring to you another school that I played at, and that is the Mid-America Nazarene University, home of the Pioneers. Big shout out to Mid-America Nazarene, Manu, as we call it, and they're doing outstanding this year in their season. Are 9-0 in their division. They play in the Heart of America Athletic Conference and first in their division. 9-0 in division, first in division. They beat South Missouri Baptist 58-21. Big shouts out to Mid-America. Looking for you guys to do some big things. Yes, I am a Wheat Bowl champion as well as a Heart of American champion. I ain't gonna tell y'all the year because it's gonna kind of tell you all my age. But big shout out to all the schools, to all the coaches. Y'all doing a wonderful job. Whether you're at the top of the division, the middle of the division, or at the bottom of the division, y'all are doing great things for these coaches. And don't forget, on November the 1st is National Coaches Day. Reach out to a coach, say hello to him, ask him how he doing. Probably be happy to hear from you because he probably didn't hear from you in a while. And again, I am Coach O. You never know when you may be the next guest on the National Scouting Service podcast show. Tune in November the 3rd. We have a special guest, outstanding female basketball athlete out of Geyer High School. You will see information on her on our platform on Instagram, National Scouting, Twitter, at National Scouting. We're on TikTok as well, National Scouting Service. Please follow us and subscribe to our YouTube channel. That is National Scouting Service on YouTube. And we're also on Facebook at National Scouting Service on Facebook as well. Hope you all enjoyed the show. Glad you tuned in. Tune into our podcast show. We'll love to hear your questions, your comments. We have answers for you. You can be a part of the show. We'll love for you to be a part of the show. Our guests will answer questions from you as well. And if it's somebody you'd like for us to feature on our podcast show, please send them our way, give them our information, send us their information, and we'll get them on the show. Again, I am Coach O, and this is the National Scouting Service podcast show.
Allow me to reintroduce myself.
I'm Coach O.